small and medium-sized enterprises are increasingly being recognized as productive drivers of economic growth and development in Africa. Tim Hinton, who's global head of SME at Standard Chartered Bank, joins us now for a look at the future of SMEs in Africa. Tim, thanks so much for joining us on the line this morning. Before we bring things to Africa specifically, let's take a look at the status of SMEs within this global economic context right now and how exactly we're faring on that front.
Yeah, well, SMEs continue to be a major driver of growth in most countries. Typically, they account for 90 or sometimes 95% of the total number of firms and enterprises in an economy, and they're a major source of employment in the economy. So actually, in our experience, even through and after the crisis, this sector has been very resilient in our markets across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. We've seen them continue to grow. Typically, they grow at a higher rate than the country's GDP growth rate. So it's a very exciting sector for us, very resilient, and hopefully optimistic for some further growth in 2013 and beyond.
Within that SME space, just how sector-specific do you have to become, Tim, or is it across-the-board resilience that we're seeing being boasted here?
Yeah, no, what we normally try and do is we focus on the key sectors in each of the markets in which we have a deep presence. So, yes, there are some international sectors that we like to focus on, but in general, we try to serve as many of the industries and sectors that form part of each of the countries and economies in which we operate.
If we get a bit specific, let's take a look at what stands out as a bright spot for you on your radar screen at the moment.
Okay, well, obviously Standard Chartered is an international bank. We have an SME business in over 30 countries. So I think the trend of internationalization is something that we're trying to tap into. So increasingly, many of these firms are expanding overseas. They're looking for new markets. Maybe they're moving away from a focus on the West, and they're looking to diversify into the emerging markets in which we are present. So we're trying to tap into that trend, whether it's helping them find new suppliers or new markets overseas, or indeed some of them are investing and setting up offices or factories or whatever in foreign countries. So I think that's an angle that we are trying to focus on. The second area is the digital revolution that we're seeing in the world, not only in banking but in general, and we're trying to provide solutions which sort of fit into that and use the technology available to us. The entrepreneurs and businessmen in this space are very, very busy people. You know, they're often doing most things for their company. They're in charge of production, sales, procurement, HR, finance, etc., and they have precious time to do the day-to-day stuff. So we're trying to make their lives easier, our service more 24/7 and online and available to them on the move. So they're just a couple of areas that we are focused on and trying to improve in.
Overall, are you considering SMEs a safe investment? And, you know, what's the rationale there? How are you looking at mitigating against some of the risks that are traditionally, emphasized when it comes to doing business with SMEs?
I think it's like most banking. It's understanding who you're dealing with, getting close to your customers, knowing what makes them tick and what their objectives are, and just being confident that you've got a common understanding with them. So banks are always taking risk and having to mitigate risk, and this segment is no different from that. So it's about being close to customers and being their strategic advisor, hopefully, and their main bank that gives you comfort.